Our Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off coverage continues with the home team, White Bear Lake, starting their season just like Roseville did earlier this afternoon against Mayer Lutheran, a team that dropped the first couple of games at the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic. They hosted a couple of Class A games on Friday and then played again on Saturday. But Mayer Lutheran always in the conversation to make the state tournament. A big reason for that, all the volleyball crossovers. And for White Bear Lake, they reached state last year. They're always one of those teams, Alex, that never seems like they're going to put that campaign together, but Jeremy Post, who's been here for a long time, knows how to mold this team for March.
And, you know, for someone who doesn't always get many chances to see some of these out-state teams, this is a great opportunity for me to watch a team like Mayer Lutheran and learn more about them. I'm particularly anxious to see the two Keaveny twins in action here today. That's going to be fun.
The Keavenys averaging just over 10 a game through two. Hallie Hunter with 13 points per game. The big question for Mayer Lutheran, can they find a little more offense? They lost 51-48 to Brahms, 62-45 to Mount Iron Buell. I think Mayer Lutheran would like to see a few more points out of their offense to give them a better chance. They are favored to get out of Section 4A. And they have reached the state tournament 4 of the last 5 years. Chris Guston, head coach and athletic director, and Mayer Lutheran, part of the MCAA.
You know, meanwhile, for White Bear Lake, they kind of find themselves in an unusual position as being one of the teams that are talked about in Class 4 Section 4 and 4A. They're not regarded very highly.
They almost never are regarded highly, but come March, they find a way to make you talk about them.
Right, and of course, being that it's only Thanksgiving time.
Yes, a long way to go before we get to sections.
Obviously.
Now, this is interesting. Mayer Lutheran, well, they are the away team. Well, we have two home teams up there. White Bear Lake wearing the white jerseys.
Yeah, I just noticed
Usually that's for the road team. It is their home gym. I guess this is a home-and-home game? Should we make ourselves at home? Or am I going to end up home alone?
I don't know. Stop it.
John's shaking his head. It's already starting, he's saying to himself. How long do I have to put up with this? Oh, you should have seen us. Well, John, that's why he was on the floor for Providence Eastview.
Yeah.
Wish you were there, Alex.
Right.
Oh, you would have loved it. John got some great shots, and we all had a lot to talk about, and we all got home before the snow, the worst of it, came, thankfully. Thank goodness that game didn't go to overtime, or I think we all would have quit. We're ready to go. Mayer Lutheran wearing the black and White Bear Lake wearing the white. The Bears with the first possession. It's a gym, of course, that I'm familiar with. I do some games here for SEC. I was here last year when they made the state tournament and won it. That was a 3-4 matchup, by the way, in 4A. The top two teams, Stillwater and Eastridge, were sent home early. Missing the scoop was Hallie Hunter. Hallie, one of the many volleyball crossovers. Mayer Lutheran, you can always count on them to contend in the Class A volleyball tournament. 3 is long for Chloe Tyson. Offensive rebound for Sophie Minier. Bounce pass going up, but a little strong.
Boy, I tell you, with a nice pass like that, it's almost a shame they couldn't finish that one out.
We have seen that play out a few times, and I think it goes back to the rushiness that comes in November. And remember, White Bear Lake, this is their first game. Didn't play in any of the breakdown or other season tip-offs. This is Clara Keaveny. Finds Avery Arvig for the 3-ball, corner pocket. But you may recall, Alex, last year Elise Dieterle transferred from Stillwater to White Bear Lake, played a leading role in their run to state. Bears on the move again. That's Manier. And that time White Bear Lake finishes. Mayer Lutheran, about an hour west of here. One of 2 schools in the area, Watertown Mayer being the other. But Mayer Lutheran, they have played in this event. Here's Clara Keaveny, thought about a 3. Zips it inside. Some extra passing. It's Izzy Keaveny, her 3 is short. Rebound, Maddie Thompson.
Good patience by Mayer Lutheran there on that last possession, though. I love how they moved the ball around.
Well, you're not going to make every shot, but if you can get that good ball movement going, I was about to say goo. White Bear Lake looking for some 3-point goo. Instead, they can't make it stick. But you're not going to make every shot. But if you're able to establish a pattern of good ball movement, that will open up some doors. Mayer Lutheran, high-low. Well, there's another example. Those are the kinds of plays, Alex, that I think come November you're going to make more often.
Right.
Sanders to Thompson. Lost the rock. Clara Keaveny. Too strong, but she's fouled. Clara Keaveny, 12 points, 9 rebounds through 2 games. I should say those are her averages. That wouldn't be too impressive, I suppose, if I just left it at that. But Clara Keaveny, she's been part of this Mayer Lutheran program for a long time in basketball and volleyball. Izzy and Clara, identical twins. Outside of basketball and sports, she likes to water ski and take her dog for walks. And she was the starting libero on a multitude of state championship teams. A 5'10" libero, yes, that does happen sometimes in volleyball. (5-2) the score. Mayer Lutheran on the steal. This is Izzy Keaveny, back out to Clara. High-low, Clara. 2 players on her. She shrugs it off for the bucket.
Well, so far, the Crusaders getting it done on the offensive end.
7-2 in the early going. 14-footer for Thompson. Drifts to the left. Arvig with the rebound. Here come the Crusaders. That's Hallie Hunter. Clara Keaveny, 3-ball. Missed the mark. Manier with the rebound. Alex, what impresses me about White Bear Lake is how they're able to find a way, how they slowly progress toward contention status in the section as they launch a 3 from the corner.
You know, and you're right. You know, that's been, you know, kind of their character over a number of years.
Right.
Especially under Jeremy Post.
Here's a jumper from near baseline. Clara Keaveny can't put it down. I remember when Lauren Eckerly and Nevaeh Hughes were part of that state championship run. Dead ball rebound to Mayer Lutheran. I'll never forget it because Nevaeh accidentally dropped an F-bomb in the post-game interview. she was thrilled. It wasn't an angry one. It was just one of those I'm proud of my team moments. They made state last year. They've reached the semis a couple of times. I'll never forget Jeremy Post going to state, I think in the semifinal round, wearing a WNBA hoodie, the orange hoodie that was all the rage a few years ago. It fits, though, the color scheme of White Bear Lake anyway. Mayer Lutheran, you could pull it off, but they're red, not orange.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going with this. 7-2, 12:39 left. Off the inbound,
Polar
it's
Bears
Hallie Hunter.
Caught sleeping there on that inbounds play.
We saw Anoka pull that move off a few times in their game earlier today. This is Lauren Sutherland of the Bears. Sanders. Tyson. Over to Gabriella Hartzell. Lost it. Crusaders come marching down, but not for long. .12:04 left in the first. It's the Class A Crusaders up on the Class 4A Bears. But a foul on Ellie Schippler. Mayer Lutheran plays Totino Grace tomorrow. Later in the year, and looking at their schedule, White Bear Lake trying to get the cut underneath, Mayer Lutheran on top of it. Hartzell straight away, off the rim. And a foul on the Bears trying to pursue the rebound.
Been a struggle so far on the offensive end for the Bears here.
Well, Alex, here's something you don't see often. Mayer Lutheran, they will spend the entire month of February at home.
Wow.
6 home games in the month of February. The most notable of that group, Minneota. They usually do well in the Class A field. And Totino Grace no slouch either. We saw how well they can play in that game against Roseville not too long ago. Bears with the ball after the steal.
Oh, what a nice pass.
Extra pass, 3-ball, short. Again, I like the ball movement out of White Bear Lake, and even though it didn't go down, that's a play you look back on that I would say, good job. You ran what you were supposed to. Of course, I'm up here and I have no idea of what Jeremy Post's playbook looks like. Right now, we've got free throws for Mayer Lutheran. And I believe that is Arvig.
Yeah, and Avery Ark, who's making her presence known pretty well in this first half.
Gets the front end to drop. Avery Arvig, an excellent defender, physical, long, and can really frustrate opponents. That's how Chris Gustin describes the 5'7" senior. It's a split for the Crusaders. White Bear Lake trying to floor it. Bounce pass, the runner. Getting her own rebound was Manier. Bears swing it around. 6 on the shot clock. Thompson, deep 3. Offline. That was Tyson on the attempt.
And White Bear Lake's struggles on the offensive end continue here.
They trailed 10-2 with 10:30 to go. Of course, it's way too early to write them off. That sneaky, elusive group that always discovers a path. Speaking of paths, Arvig finds one through the lane.
Again.
stepping into the three and knocking it down. It's Tyson off the feed from Thompson.
Jeremy Post still wants a 30-second timeout to talk about some strategy here for the near term.
And we've seen that from time to time. Teams score a bucket but get the timeout just to get settled in. White Bear Lake, 20-11 last year. Alex, they've made state 3 of the last 4 years.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, that shows you there's a lot of continuity in that program. You know, when you have that kind of success over a number of years, that's really important.
And it wasn't just Dieterle who graduated. Abby O'Brien, Addison Post, again, not superstars, but kind of like Roseville. They contribute to the bigger picture.
Right.
And that can go a long way, too. Yes, we've talked a lot about Madden Greenway and Torrey and Maya Wilson and Chloe Johnson. You know, the big names are going to draw a lot of the highlights, but the unsung heroes, as I like to call them, they can play a big part, too. We'll see a few more of them in our next couple of games when the out-of-towners, and I truly mean out-of-towners, come to play. 12-5, Crusaders with the rock. Arvig finds number 10, Presley Hunter. Crusaders trying to go inside, but nothing doing for Ada Hahn.
Let's see if that first three-pointer spurs some more success on the offensive end. But there's a dribble, killing that one.
I'm trying to remember, Alex, is this your first time here in the Galvin Court?
Yes.
Well, what do you make of it as White Bear Lake plays their home game?
It's a beautiful facility here, beautiful high school.
3-ball. Clara Keaveny tracked her own miss. Nobody covered her on the high carom. Presley Hunter a little high on the scoop. Coming up with it is Hahn for the finish.
Second and third opportunities.
This gym, Alex, I will say, having covered the section final back in March between Roseville and White Bear Lake, it's a tight fit. You get to know each other. It has that intimate setting with the perch right behind the bleachers. We actually had our view obstructed as Mayer Lutheran obstructed White Bear Lake. Hahn misses the layup this time. Break for the Bears. They trail 14-5, but they end up throwing it away, or I thought they did, but Mayer Lutheran bails them out.
I think Arvik thought she could save it.
And I wonder if she thought Mayer Lutheran touched it, because in my head, I'd say, oh, let it go. Instead, White Bear Lake catches a break. Pick and roll, but a travel.
Yeah, she took an extra step.
Freya Sanders, a few too many steps.
And the turnovers that the Bears have had in this early portion of this first half alone are enough to make any coach want to reach for the Tylenol PM at night.
Well, there's our first Tylenol PM reference of the new year. That's one line that is stuck in my head, Alex, thanks to you. I hope you're happy.
You knew that was coming.
I may have to take some Excedrin after we're done. Here's Clara Keaveny. 10 on the shot clock. Shipler. Keaveny again. Mayer Lutheran trying to penetrate. White Bear Lake shuts the door. Keaveny. Mayer Lutheran just could not find an opening on that possession.
You know, even though they came up empty on that particular possession, I like what they did there. They were patient. They were looking for the good opportunity.
Bears cough it up. That's Izzy Keaveny, who finds Shipler. Shipler in a tight spot, goes back out to Clara. White Bear Lake in a zone. Mayer Lutheran can't break free, but they will shoot free throws. Izzy Keaveny to the line.
The one thing that you can tell is that this group from Mayer Lutheran, they know what they're doing on the offensive end. They've worked together for a while.
Izzy Keaveny knocks down the front end. All-state honorable mention in Class A the last 2 years. Says that she and Clara have a secret language that they speak on the court. I can't say I know what that language is, but if Mayer Lutheran pays another visit anytime soon, I might have to find out. Clara, by the way, was an all-state recipient last year. And Izzy Keaveny hits the freebies. Crusaders 5 of 6 as they go up by 11. Straightaway 3 for the Bears, rattles out. Izzy Keaveny comes up with the board. Hunter to Shipler, that's Clara, long 3. White Bear Lake will make the catch. Maren Peterson back out on the floor for the Bears. Maddie Thompson out of the key, slapped away, she'll have to retrieve. Hartzell. Sanders, White Bear Lake spots the clock, tries to thread it inside, tough scoop. Mayer Lutheran covered them well. White Bear Lake stuck on 5 points. Alex, this reminds me years ago of a Stillwater White Bear Lake game I did back in the, that's a carrying call. But this reminds me, Alex, of a Stillwater White Bear Lake game I called back in the day when I think Sarah Scalia, Liza Carlin were in high school. Stillwater led 50-7 at halftime.
Ooh.
And then White Bear Lake made a fight of it in the next meeting of that series. I think, no, White Bear Lake won the first meeting. That's how it happened. They hit their threes. They look to hit this one, and they will. Mayer Lutheran will call a timeout. 5:37 left in the first. Alex, White Bear Lake having a tough time breaking through, but those threes can help them hang around.
It can. Just the thing I'm noticing so far, Mike, is there just seems to be a lot of disconnect on the offensive end. It's just like they're not really looking like a cohesive unit, and you wouldn't expect that necessarily, I suppose, in the early portion of the season. And I'm sure they'll get better as the season progresses, but we just haven't seen that cohesion yet.
Again, these two state tournament participants last season, but White Bear Lake having to do it with some new faces this year. Mayer Lutheran bringing back a few pieces from a year ago. They only lost Marley Martin to graduation. And Elise Tays transferred to Southwest Christian down in Chaska, which is east of here. East of Mayer Lutheran, that is. West of here, where they've held the Tip-Off Classic the last couple of years. I still prefer Hopkins. It's a little closer. But I digress. 16-8.
There's
Aaron pass. Manier goes up. Too strong. Crusaders on the run. Arvig in trouble. Nearly throws it away. Izzy Keaveny is there to clean it up. And the ball knocked away. Clara Keaveny looking for the dime. Braylon Stalky's short-range shot rims out. Post. Gets it, fires. Short. Rebound, Clara Keaveny. Stolke going inside to Izzy Keaveny, who scores the jumper in the lane. 18-8. Offense not coming in big spurts, but Mayer Lutheran holding their own. Touch 3 for the Bears. That was Manier.
Sure seems like White Bear Lake is settling for a lot of three-point shots right now. They're not finding many other answers than that.
Give and go, the
And
Keaveny sisters, that
Mayer
secret
Lutheran's
language.
able to get layups and like that, and that makes a big difference. That explains that 20-8 lead that they're enjoying right now.
That must have been the secret language the Keaveny sisters talk about, because it was Clara and Izzy who hooked up on that give and go play. Post working off the screen. Turnaround. Nothing there for Tyson. Mayer Lutheran, Alex, I think, doing a better job finding good shots to work with as Stolke scores on the run. Mayer Lutheran up by 2 touchdowns. Another 3 for the Bears. Alex, you were just noting a moment ago, and it's playing out. White Bear Lake trying to work their way back with the 3 ball. Mayer Lutheran getting some interior penetration, and that will lead to free throws for Avery Arvig. We were saying, Alex, the key for Mayer Lutheran was to find more offense. Well, the other side of that equation, play really good defense, forcing White Bear Lake into a lot of perimeter shots. As Arvig will shoot a couple. She's got 6 points so far.
She's had a pretty solid first half.
And again, this is the 3rd game of the year for Mayer Lutheran. They play Totino Grace tomorrow. Empty possession for the Crusaders. With 3:10 to go in the first. Just inside the line. Ooh, Arvig colliding with Chloe Tyson. And Chloe will shoot 2. If you're curious, the old gym that White Bear Lake used to play in is still there. The South Campus was rebranded as Mariner Middle School, but they kept all the facilities. It's just the middle schools that use them now. Chloe Tyson knocks down the free throws to make it 22-10. White Bear Lake will have their work cut out for them. Here comes Arvig, looking for the scoop, and she's got it.
She comes through again there for Watertown.
Watertown?
For Mayer Lutheran.
Alex, where have you been? Watertown?
Yeah.
How dare you speak that name to the Crusaders?
I know.
I'm sure it's not the first time. 24-10. Mayer Lutheran threads it back out, but a walk.
Well, I think now the big challenge is for White Bear Lake as we near the 2-minute mark is to see if they can get this thing back to within single digits, Mike.
A 3 would go a long way for that, but Tyson can't knock it down.
Again, I think that, the disappointing thing, from White Bear Lake perspective is just that they're settling for so many 3-point shots that I don't think that they have to settle for right now.
And when you look at their lineup, I know they're down a couple of players. Pearl Niemioya, who played volleyball, got hurt. Chloe Taco also working her way back from injury. Taco, someone who could help out with the interior game. So White Bear Lake trying to get it done elsewhere. Mayer Lutheran looking for the high-low play. White Bear Lake wards them off. But Mayer Lutheran containing them to that three-point line. They're not giving up, though. But like you said, maybe try to work your way inside a bit more. A tip and an interception for the Bears. Post, fakes. Mayer Lutheran swarming the paint. Almost come up with it. And we'll have a side out for White Bear Lake.
Still a lot of time left on the shot clock here, so let's see if they can work themselves into a good shot here.
Alex, something you probably noticed about this gym too, it's surrounded by a circular hallway up and down, so all the locker rooms and entry points, concessions, pretty easy to access.
Yeah.
On one end, you
although I have to confess, I got a little lost the first time.
Well, it does have you ring around in circles, doesn't it? 7 to shoot for the Bears as they are in a jam again, trying to get out of it. Maren Peterson drains the three. And then they force the turnover, disrupting a transition high-low play for Mayer Lutheran. So White Bear Lake with a chance to get a little momentum in what has been a rough first half. Not a lot of offense for the Bears. And this team can score some big numbers. Another three ball. This one will not land in the bucket, that is, but it was touched by Mayer Lutheran. So the Bears get a reprieve with 26 seconds. Jeremy Post, he's been at the helm a long time. The highlight for White Bear Lake.
Trying to sort something out here.
I think the shot clock would have to go back to 20 because White Bear Lake, unless, if it didn't touch rim and it was touched by Mayer Lutheran, the shot clock should not be off. And if we had the licensing to afford it, I think a certain Merv Griffin tune would be apropos. And no, I'm not talking about changing keys. So 17 seconds on the shot clock, and again, it's because there was no exchange of possession.
Okay.
White Bear Lake got free for a moment. Mayer Lutheran responded in time. Now they can hold for the last shot. Nine on the game clock. Mayer Lutheran trying to thread it inside again. Now the Bears have time after the takeaway. Deep three. I think Tyson could have taken another dribble toward the bucket before firing. In any event, Mayer Lutheran leads 24-13. Offense has been shaky at times, but the Crusaders overall getting better interior penetration, and I think that's making the difference in our score.
Yeah, no doubt about it. For White Bear Lake, it's been some rough sailing on Lake Superior, and they've got to find some more answers on the offensive end. They can't just rely solely on jacking up three-point shots.
I would think they would prefer surfing on White Bear Lake as opposed to Lake Superior.
You may have a point there.
I mean, the lake is not that right, just a walk away,
right.
It's within walking distance from here.
Right.
Although ice fishing will take over before long. We're going to take a
poor choice of body of waters that I chose, but
well, we're going to end up somewhere in Lake Michigan, I think, and then come back for the second half. This is the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. Mayer Lutheran leads by 11.
Women's basketball has been around a long time, and we've had so many opportunities, and now we're just continuing to get more.
Susan Sudley makes a great move. Pass to Linda Sudley.
It comes back to just feeling like you're part of a sorority of women. It's really fun to see. There's a lot of pride.
The 90s, late 90s, we was pumping out great women's basketball players. And still to this day, we're still there.
Mike Peden and Alex Nagel back with you, and Mayer Lutheran, they're ready to go. That was a short halftime speech on their side. They lead 24-13 in a battle of defense.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see what White Bear Lake, what adjustments Jeremy Post makes or made during that halftime break. See how they can become a bit more effective on the offensive end.
Avery Arvig with 8 points. Clara Keaveny with 6. Those are your notables. White Bear Lake, nobody with more than 5. But a lot of that has to do with the difficulties connecting from long range. White Bear Lake, they are picking up on the Mayer Lutheran entry game a little more as they get the steal. Some fun facts, by the way, about White Bear Lake. Chloe Tyson.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'll get to that in a moment. She just coughed it up. I was about to praise her for her lawn mowing business, but you know what? I still can. And I will be sending lots of praise to Clara Keaveny.
And you saw Jeremy Post just kind of put his hands to his head in frustration, and it kind of seems to be the continuing saga for this White Bear Lake team in this game.
A dynamic scorer who can beat people off the dribble. That's how Chris Gustin describes Clara Keaveny, who completes the three-point play. So Keaveny goes up to 11. And Mayer Lutheran back up by 14, 27-13. White Bear Lake primarily had to settle for 3 balls in the first half. And remember, this is their first game. Mayer Lutheran already had a couple of games under their belt, and they were against a couple of contenders in Mount Iron Beal and Bram. Bram going down to Class A. That was one of the changes this year. They fluctuated between A and AA, though, and NRHEG going down to Class A.
The Bears' frustrations continue.
Frustrating sounds about right. Just not enough rhythm. That pass from Keaveny to Hunter got tripped up, allowing White Bear Lake to snatch it. Tyson, 3 from the corner. And again, Alex, White Bear Lake trying to make that long ball work, and it just hasn't gone in their favor. Mayer Lutheran working the key. Clara Keaveny was calling for it. Long 3 is a bit long. Dead ball rebound to the Bears. Of course, by the time this goes up, these games will have been finished, but we got some early scores. A little bit of a surprise, Waconia knocking off St. Michael Abbeville over at Hamlin.
That was a shocker.
And Izzy Keaveny knocking White Bear Lake off their rockers. Alex, we are seeing a little more feistiness out of Mayer Lutheran defensively.
Boy, that was almost picked off.
White Bear Lake getting rocked. trying to find anything to regain their momentum. The give and go is fumbled. But if you're watching this and you're a White Bear Lake fan, I repeat this. This is a team that usually puts the pieces together come section time.
Oh, they'll be a much better team as this season progresses. I have no doubts about that.
And they are working from an experience disadvantage in the sense this is their first game. Mayer Lutheran already had 2. Baseline pass deflected. It will stay with Mayer Lutheran. 15:08 on the clock here in this second half. Eight on the shot clock. Hunter out to Izzy Keaveny. It's Arvig, the turnaround. Yes!
Oh.
Arvig with the turnaround hook.
I tell you one thing about Arvig. She hasn't been sensational or flashy, but she's been very solid.
And you don't have to be flashy to make an impact in this sport. Izzy Keaveny with the sneak attack, and she'll take it in for 2.
And just like that, Jeremy Post wants to take a match to a timeout and talk about it. This one getting away from the Bears now, down 20.
33-13, and the way Mayer Lutheran is playing, you'd think they were on a quest for the Holy Grail. But I assure you, this is not their last crusade.
No. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one from you yet.
I mostly did that to get a rise out of John.
Ah, I see. Okay, all right. I think you succeeded on that front. So.
Well, I already peppered Abe with a bunch of stupid one-liners. I have to spread the wealth around, like you said earlier. 33-13, and talk about spreading wealth. We don't keep track of assists or rebounds because I don't have a calculator in my head. But Clara Keaveny, 11 points for Mayer Lutheran. Arvig with 10. Izzy Keaveny with 8. Mayer Lutheran, again, in Class A, you're not going to see the same level of depth that you would in 3A or 4A. But
right.
You get 3 players who contribute like that, it can go a long way.
Well, you know, and when you have a game like this, you know, in the very early portion of your schedule, and you come away, if you're able to come away with a big win like this on an opponent's home floor, it's a big boost of confidence.
Well, Avery Arvig having her breakout performance of the season so far in her first couple of games. She only scored 2 points in each of them. Let's see if White Bear Lake can find an answer. Here's Tyson. Swarmed in the lane, kicks out. 3 ball for Sophie Menier. Menier and Tyson both play tennis in the fall, so a couple of tennis basketball crossovers.
Let's see if that last basket by Menier sparks a bit of a run here for the Bears.
I think what would help, Alex, White Bear Lake, can they find a way around that shell defense of Mayer Lutheran?
Yeah.
Because they've had to take a lot of threes.
Right.
If they can work their way inside, I don't think we've seen them. I'm looking up and down. 5 field goals, and 4 of them are triples, so that tells you where the points in the paint battle is unfolding.
You know, the other thing, too, with sizable lead that Mayer Lutheran has right now, they can take some chances on defense.
White Bear Lake gets it across under duress. Amelia Post short on the jumper. Mayer Lutheran gets the ball back. Crusaders swing it around a second time. White Bear Lake tips it away and forces a turnover. Again, White Bear Lake has picked up on those swing motions that find their way inside, but
I look at that White Bear.
they need more offensive synchronicity.
Yeah. I look at that White Bear Lake bench and I see one person on there who was a standout here at White Bear Lake some years ago. There you go.
Maddie Thompson standing out in that possession.
Who was successful here many years ago, Anna Sanders, and also a standout at Gustavus as well.
She's been part of the coaching staff for some time. Alexis Foley also was on the staff last year. Foley, perhaps the most successful player in White Bear Lake's history. Here's the turnaround for Izzy Keaveny.
Foley's an assistant at St. Mary's now.
Okay, so Alexis going up to the college ranks.
Yep.
Starting in the MIAC. And Izzy Keaveny scoops in another layup. She's got 10. 35-18. White Bear Lake, that looked off balance. Well, that would explain why you don't see Alexis Foley out there. But all the players who I've covered who have since become coaches, it's a sign that I'm getting old.
Well, when you had your last interview, Abby Luger, who used to play at Augsburg, was up here. She was on that Roseville staff.
High-low for Mayer Lutheran. Keaveny from Stolke. Izzy Keaveny, that is.
Mayer Lutheran beginning to make it look easy here.
Izzy Keaveny stepping up her production. Again, a smaller field, so just one court of varsity play. Last year we had to split between Galvin and the field house. As splitting the defense underneath is Gabby Hartzell. Alex, if White Bear Lake can get some stops, we've seen them get inside now a couple of times, a sight we did not notice in the first half. That could be their ticket. Arvig, driving kick. Izzy Keaveny had the three, hit the front iron. Hartzell.
If you're White Bear Lake, here's an opportunity to get, or was an opportunity.
Instead, Izzy Keaveny with an opportunity.
And Mayer Lutheran, the Crusaders just pouncing on every opportunity to build their lead, and they did it right there with a 39-20 advantage here.
39-20, Izzy Keaveny, 14 points. Izzy enjoys traveling when she's not playing. The starting setter for the volleyball team, we mentioned Clara being the starting libero. And Mayer Lutheran as a whole, with their enrollment size, it's almost a necessity, but the smaller schools often produce those multi-sport athletes, A and AA in particular. You can't specialize in one sport as easily. And I think that's why Mayer Lutheran is solid all around. Volleyball, they are one of the gold standards in the state of Minnesota. Maybe they don't have the state championship success in basketball, but you bring in all the volleyball crossovers, and it shows.
Yeah, and it's
foul on the Crusaders.
When you're an athlete and you can play multiple sports, you can't help but be a little bit jealous. I mean, for me, when I was growing up, I was a one-trick pony, being a tennis player. But
at least you had one trick.
Well, yeah.
Look what happened to me.
But I mean, it just shows you, when you have the versatility like that, to be able to play multiple sports. That's that's really a wonderful opportunity to have.
Maddie Thompson at the line. Just the second trip to the free throw line. Not a lot of free throws, Alex. This game moving along pretty briskly. Mayer Lutheran 6 of 9, White Bear Lake 4 of 4. And the way this game is going, Alex, we're going to stay ahead of schedule. Offensive foul on Mayer Lutheran.
They call that on Arvid. In any event, here come the Bears now. Down 17. And another possession ends for them. Stolen away by White Bear Lake. So let's see what they do here now. Just so many turnovers for White Bear Lake.
Had to take care of a crew situation because we've got another crew member joining us in a little bit, but it's 39-22. White Bear Lake looking to reel themselves back in, but another three comes up short. Arvig starts another passing set. Now Clara Keaveny moves in, has that shot attempt swatted away.
Wholesale changes now for White Bear Lake.
9:42 left.
Head coach Jeremy Post trying to find any kind of answer here.
This is Arvig, who finds Ellie Schiffler. Baseline J off the mark.
Well, that pretty much sums up the story for White Bear Lake in this contest, Mike.
Possession after possession just coming up empty for the Bears, and this is all part of that learning process. Like we said, three players who were a key part of last year's section championship team all graduated, so the identity has to be rediscovered. Ball knocked away by the Crusaders. And as we noted before, several schools moving back up to 4A. Two Rivers joining the section. I think for a time they were in 4A over in Section 3. But I don't think there's a runaway favorite. We've seen Eastridge struggle already through two games. 6 on the shot clock. And Gabby Hartzell unable to convert.
Wow.
How did Izzy Keaveny get that wide open?
Well, another defensive lapse there by the Bears.
Izzy Keaveny was just laying low from behind. Clara, and that secret language connection they have, took notice. Manier to Tyson. That three-point stroke just hasn't been there for Chloe. She hit one, but it was also touched again. So it will stay with the Bears.
White Bear Lake, so.
No, I heard the officials say no, it was touched. It was deflected.
Right.
So I'll give Tyson a little grace. Sophie Menier can't convert the inbound play. Mayer Lutheran. They've been able to penetrate, knock down a few long shots, and set the tone offensively. Here is Clara Keaveny, swatted away by Menier. White Bear Lake trying to go back door instead.
You know, when you make those passes into the lane like that, you've got to really be precise. That's why those kind of passes are so hard to make.
Mayer Lutheran falls on it, gets the timeout call. So another turnover forced by the Crusaders. And what they've done again over the last few years, they've reached the state tournament 4 out of the last 5. Prior to that point, they'd only reached the Big Dance 3 times, including the second ever tournament in 1975. But they only graduated 1 starter. They returned everyone else from the rotation. And I was talking about this a bit with Chris Bierman, who brings back a lot at Coon Rapids, Alex. Experience can prove highly influential over the course of a season. Even if you don't have the most talent per se, Mayer Lutheran, they brought back just about everybody.
Yeah.
Outside of 1 starter and 1 transfer.
Yep.
So they already have a level of cohesiveness
Yep.
that White Bear Lake has yet to attain.
Yep.
Now the Bears will get there eventually. But I think we're seeing the experience play out in Mayer Lutheran's favor.
Most definitely.
And White Bear Lake on their end lost 3 starters who were key pieces for the Bears system. 41-22, Mayer Lutheran. They see the shot clock winding down, but Arvik stepped on the sideline.
Ran out of real estate there.
Yes, they did.
So again, the Bears trailing by 19 here near the 6:30 mark of this second half. Ooh, there's a nice 3-point shot. Menier coming in again for the Bears.
Mayer Lutheran looking for the answer after the Menier 3. The question for the Bears, do they have enough time? Can they get
Menier
enough
again.
going?
Ooh,
Can't get the
friendly
bounce.
bounce. Oh.
Well, Mayer Lutheran will opt to scoop up the board. Arvig in the corner. White Bear Lake still zoning up. Mayer Lutheran still stuck on the perimeter. And White Bear Lake, another example of that shakiness in chemistry. They got the steal and then the errant pass. That's not what you want when you're trying to work your way out of a deficit. So Mayer Lutheran with the high-low.
That was pretty.
to Clara Keaveny. I was about to say Mayer Lutheran
You notice how sharp and how precise the passing is on this Mayer Lutheran team?
I was about to say they can glide to the finish, and they are gliding with a capital G. Offensively, their production about the same as it was in the first two games, but the difference is what they've done defensively, mostly containing White Bear Lake to the outside. And the Bears not hitting enough three-pointers to make Mayer Lutheran flinch. Clara Keaveny goes back out. Be patient, Chris Gustin says. And Mayer Lutheran, they've worked the clock. They're not trying to floor it. As they get out of a jam, Clara Keaveny was in a rough
Nice
spot.
finishing there by Hallie Hunter.
I was going to say, found Hallie Hunter to escape.
Oh.
Izzy Keaveny with the steal. And another coast-to-coast run.
You heard that snap when her hand hit that ball, and you knew where she was headed.
Around goes White Bear Lake. They get the runner to fall. That's Amelia Post, Alex, but there's not going to be enough time. Mayer Lutheran, I thought the Crusaders would be looking for a score, say, in the 50s or 60s when I saw what they did before. But again, the difference is the defense, as Clara Keaveny fires the three, hits the front iron. Arvig scratching. Well, points for trying. Not easy to do when you're engaged in battle amidst three white jerseys. There's a fake by Lawrence Setterlund. And a jump ball. I think that's our first jump ball.
And Mayer Lutheran is not showing any signs of stepping off the gas here anytime soon with a 20-point lead. Harvick was getting in there trying to wrest the ball away.
I think that was the first jump ball we've seen, certainly in this half, maybe for the game. The arrow hasn't been much of a factor. Another three, this one offline. Alex, it was a slow and steady path to victory for Mayer Lutheran here. But you have to think, again, Class A, it's tough to say who's going to win it. West Central, I think one is a 4 seed.
Well, there's a reason that
Sleepy Eye St. Mary's, I think, is a favorite with the Morgan Mathiowicz down there.
Again, I think there's a reason that Mayer Lutheran is so highly regarded as they are, and they're demonstrating that here this afternoon.
Izzy Keaveny gets fouled. White Bear Lake nowhere near the bonus, or the penalty, I should say. And White Bear Lake will send in some of their backups, Alexa Paradise among them. Certainly not the showing you're looking for if you're White Bear Lake, but it will demonstrate what they need. Foul away from the ball. Because you have to think in the Suburban East, even though there aren't a lot of front runners that would make a serious charge for a state title, you have Eastridge with Vienna Murray, the Oklahoma commit. Roseville, they're scrappy. They'll put up a fight no matter who they play against. Woodbury, they're looking to get back in the conversation, and they took some steps last year.
If there's one conference that'll test their mettle, it's the Suburban East.
8 on the shot clock. Again, Mayer Lutheran not in any hurry to floor it. Izzy Keaveny, another tough shot. Izzy Keaveny with 20. Mayer Lutheran. One question I think I have, and White Bear Lake, again, a team that doesn't mash the accelerator as much. Mayer Lutheran can hang with teams that play a slower pace, per se, if they're able to establish it. How will they fare against teams that like to run? And I'm saying this not really getting a chance to see what Brammer Mountain Iron Buell had, as I was not able to cover the Tip-Off Classic due to a change in streaming partners. Not the best possession for Mayer Lutheran, but you can live with it with a minute to go. Izzy Keaveny, Alex, 20 points.
Oh, just solid. I was just really impressed with Avery Arvig here this afternoon. I thought she was just really solid, if not spectacular.
Abby DeWitt scores for the Bears. And Mayer Lutheran can pretty much hold it, except for that. Arvig had her best performance of the early season. You have to think the Keavenys will serve as the foundation. Hallie Hunter, another crossover with volleyball and basketball. Mayer Lutheran has athletes, and they will exert their influence just as they did today. A defensive masterclass for the Crusaders, who win it 49-29, and Mayer Lutheran picks up win number 1 of the new season.
Well, solid performance on both ends of the floor here by the Crusaders this afternoon, and, you know, this is a team that's going to get better and better as this season progresses.
They certainly will. We'll try to get a word with a Crusader or two since we've got a little time as we continue coverage of the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. Mayer Lutheran, 49-29 win, nabbed their first victory of the year. We're joined by Izzy Keaveny, 20 points in the victory over White Bear Lake. And Izzy, the offense was about the same as the last two games. The difference was defense. You kept White Bear Lake to the perimeter, forcing them into a lot of tough shots outside. How successful was the defensive execution today?
I think our defensive execution was great. I mean, we knew they were going to want to shoot threes today, so we made sure to play tight ball defense, which we practiced a lot. We have a lot of bigs, so, I mean, we played big because they were a lot bigger than we were, so big defense, a lot of effort, and quick on our feet today.
Of course, you started the season playing against a couple of potential contenders in Class A, but to get your first win of the season, to do it against a 4A school, that doesn't happen often. What do you think that can do to get Mayer Lutheran, I don't want to say on the right track, but just remind them that, yeah, we can play some ball too?
I think it's great. I mean, we usually want to play tough teams. It makes us better. I mean, we learn from volleyball. I mean, everything's better. I mean, Brom and Mount Iron, really great teams, ranked top 10. I mean, with White Bear going to state last year, it's great to come out and beat them and kind of on their home court, but to beat a 4A school as a 1A school is always great.
How would you say the volleyball regimen, because Mayer Lutheran, they're in the tournament, they seemingly win every year in Class A, at least the last couple of years. How does that carry over? Because that's often a stat that your coach and I come across, the number of volleyball, basketball crossovers, and it shows.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, we come in, we have like 3 days off from the state tournament, so we know we're going to be pretty out of shape, even though we do a lot of conditioning at volleyball. But knowing that we have that team chemistry with two girls, I mean, there's a couple that don't play volleyball, but over the past 4 years, we've all gotten close, and we make sure to keep the littles, our little young ones, close to us. So coming from volleyball with everybody, team chemistries are a major thing for us.
Something I wanted to explore with you, we saw a couple examples of this secret language that you have with your twin sister. What does that entail exactly? How do you communicate in ways I could not, so to speak?
I mean, we kind of just look at each other sometimes. It's just like we've grown up playing together. It's kind of just like a look. I mean, but other times it's kind of just the way we know each other plays basketball. I mean, the long court passes, the behind the backs, and the backdoor cuts. I mean, it's just kind of like you guys could say twin telepathy, things like that. But I mean, it's great and kind of just like okay, go.
And I would say you took a couple of steps in that direction in terms of fluidity. That helped with Mayer Lutheran. So how long does it usually take for everyone to get settled into basketball mode? Because understandably, the turnover from volleyball to basketball is abbreviated. How long does it take to get settled in, and what are your hopes for this year?
I mean, typically we say, after Christmas break, we have a long Christmas break. We have a J term. We go down to Mexico to help on mission trips, things like that. So we typically say after Christmas break is when we fully lock in and we have everything's basketball related. But starting the beginning of the year, we try and key in as much as we can. We have a lot of club volleyball players, so just focusing on the things we can do and playing it together as a team and just basketball focus mostly.
Well, that's one way to spend a winter break. What do you get most out of that, the mission trips to Mexico? Because I know a lot of student athletes that go to Christian schools like Mayer Lutheran, they'll do those opportunities. It's a great way to give service to the communities far and wide. It doesn't matter where you are, you can always help out. What has that done for you?
I went last year, and I got to go with my best friend, Olivia, who's not playing basketball this year, but you're going to make friends, and you kind of make friends with the whole school, so it's kind of nice. And a lot of the basketball girls and the volleyball girls will go, so we stay close with them, and it's just a grateful thing. It makes you really see how the world is and how grateful you can be.
It is a great way to gain perspective, I'll give you that. Before we go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, sister.
Well, hi, Mom, Dad, sister, and everyone else watching. Izzy, thanks for stopping by. Congrats on the win. Good luck tomorrow, and perhaps we'll see you make another state tournament appearance, because that's what Mayer Lutheran likes to do with their women's sports. They just go to state all the time.
Thank you.
Izzy Keaveny of Mayer Lutheran, and we'll have plenty more from the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off soon.